The Quitman 10+2. District Attorney David Miller. Assistant District Attorney Brad Shealy. Secretary of State Brian P. Kemp. Governor of the State of Georgia Nathan Deal. Georgia Attorney General Sam Olens. Attorney General of the United States Department of Justice Eric Holder. We the people want a right to vote. Our children need to see us in positions of power. Let us hear from our children and a few words from the Honorable Tyrone Brooks, a representative who came down to Brooks County when he got wind of what was going on. Listen, and listen well. We're just going to ask them, why are you all out here today?
We are the soldiers of Christ, and we have the right to vote. It is wrong for others to take our right to vote. It is very important. It's our constitutional rights.
Will y'all repeat that again for me, please?
We are the soldiers of Christ, and we have the right to vote. And it's wrong for others to take our right to vote, because it's very important. And it's our constitutional right.
Did you hear that? He says it's their constitutional right. But do you not know the Dred Scott decision of 1857 said that no black man in America had any rights that a white person was bound to respect? And from what we see today, that 1857 mentality is yet among us. In addition to that, when we see the news media ignore a high-profile case such as the Quitman 10+2, and they don't even show up. The third time they don't show up. The newspapers in Georgia don't even consider this newsworthy. That's dealing with voting and our rights under the same Constitution. It seems as if though the old Valdosta City Charter of 1860 that was removed after I saw it and asked them to remove it, but some whites on Valdosta City Council refused, and they stood their ground, but it was approved eventually. And so now we must ask a question. Have the news media in the state of Georgia, not just here, in Meigs, Georgia, in Dawson, Georgia, in Warrenton, Georgia, in Gordon, Georgia, in Lumpkin, Georgia, and many other these small towns that I have already recorded that are having major problems, but the news media is so one-sided, we all know it. Black people know it, white people know it, and those of the Lester Maddox era, they don't know it. They pretend they don't know it, but deep down in their God-given soul, they know that the news media is controlled and ain't worth the paper or the vision on television. So now, we must ask a question today. Is that 1860 charter alive and well? Although they removed it from the wall leading into Municipal Court Judge Edwards' office on the second floor of Valdosta City Hall, they removed it reluctantly. But here's what that charter said. That the mayor and council shall pass all proper and necessary laws and ordinances for the control of slaves and free persons of color, and to control, suppress, and abate all nuisances arising from hogs, dogs, horses, and other livestock straying at large in Valdosta. Those key words, control and suppress. And if the news media in South Georgia and the state of Georgia was not at this trial last week, and it continues tomorrow, and if the news media is not there, maybe they have found that charter and they have placed it on the wall of these editors and these reporters and other people to ensure that you will always, without exception, be left in the white. In other words, you'll be left deaf, dumb, and blind to the times and unable to make intelligent decisions based on facts. But I thank God for Representative Tyrone Brooks and men like him, including Joseph Lowry, SCLC President Mostella, and others. And while I'm at it, I saw where they criticized Jesse Jackson on Facebook as he was sitting in a McDonald's parking lot in a vehicle. Let me take time out to say this to the individual that criticized Jesse. You should be ashamed of yourself. You should be ashamed of yourself for criticizing the Honorable Reverend Jesse L. Jackson. Reverend Jesse L. Jackson, he has paid his time to society. He has paid dearly. That man is up in age. Look at his face. Leave the man alone. Pray for him, like the Bible says. If you have aught with him, pray for him and ask God to help him. I was so outdone for anybody in the United States to come up against that man. That man cannot be changed. He will always be in the archival record of our history and the history of this nation. So some of you laugh and you say that he had fathered children outside of his marriage. And so you condemn him for that. But you don't condemn David. You don't condemn Solomon. You don't condemn the rest of most of them anyway. Other men as well. And so let us have a little compassion. And let us understand that all of us have faults. Jesse, we love you. Many of us respect you. And there's nothing that you can do that will take away what you've gone through. And moreover, the same person that talked and criticized you on national TV, I doubt very seriously that their name would even be a dash in the history books of America. They will not even be the dash, Jesse. So Jesse, hold your head up. Hold your head up, Jesse, and be proud of what God gave you. And let those critics be what they are based upon what they do. Don't criticize them, Jesse. Don't you fall beneath their level, Brother Jesse. Run, Jesse, run. We thank you very much. Now back to the point of the Quitman 10+2. The Reverend Jesse Jackson, listen, Representative Tyrone Brooks came to Valdosta, been coming to Quitman as well. In fact, he came and walked the street. We walked the streets in Slab Town over in Quitman, and Representative Tyrone Brooks came down with Senator Brown, David Lucas and his wife, and Helen Butler, and Reverend Joseph Lowry. This thing is big. But the news media make you want to think that these are criminals. Let's close this out. Now listen.
Have mercy.
Now we're going to listen to Reverend...
I'm George Boston Ryan. We're down at Old Time Buffet, and we're getting ready for a rally tomorrow. We're in Tyrone Brooks that came down from Atlanta to talk in support of the Quitman 10. How you doing, my beautiful brother?
Doing good.
Good. What's your name? What's your name, my brother?
Tyrone Brooks.
Okay, what are you?
He likes to eat, you know.
We're preparing for the town hall public hearing in Quitman on Saturday, March 31st, 12 noon at Bethel AME Church, to allow the citizens of Brooks County to come and tell us how they have been treated for the last 2 years regarding the elections.
Now, that meeting took place, and yours truly, George Boss Rhyme, the Ghetto Free Press, we recorded information. And we also sent it, let me repeat, we also sent it, not to the governor of the state of Georgia, but he's aware of it, but we sent it to the Department of Justice, Eric Holder, years ago. And we haven't heard nothing back from him that I know of. Moreover, the Mooresford Bridge, a white man stepped forward and talked about those murders. And There's a video that we sent to Eric Holder, the Department of Justice. Just like Willie Jane Williams' case, we sent it to the Department of Justice.
No 10 that led to the suspension of the Quitman 10, all the trials and tribulations they're going through. We know that many citizens across the county who want to come and let us know how they've been mistreated, how their rights have been abused. But this is an opportunity for them to come out and speak to us. We've been speaking to them for 2 years. We want them to come and talk to us.
Okay, thank you very much. What organization are you coming under? What number? NHPCP, SCLC? I know you got a lot of support, but what organization are you coming under? All of them.
The Georgia Association of Black Elected Officials, NAACP, SCLC, Rainbow Push, Concerned Clergy, all of our partners in New York last month for the G.B.R Winter Conference, representing all of those organizations.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Daniel, you have any?
And once again, back to the Quitman 10 picture. But what I do not understand is how is that the civil rights organization, with all of their prestige and professionalism, along with the education of their members, can ignore the black newly elected mayors in the state of Georgia and not say anything. The mayors in Georgia are catching pure hell. They are putting them through the ringers. This is another attempt to circumvent the black voters in the United States of America. And because the news media will not go to Meigs to interview what is going on in truth and depth of the people on the street and these mayors, or they will be one-sided when they interview the mayor. So now mayors are scared as hell to get behind the camera with the news station like in Macon, because what they do, they'll take it and they'll twist it and they'll use it against them to make them look like criminals, just like they have done the Quitman 10+2, and they will not report the beef of the stories that is happening here in the state of Georgia and perhaps around the United States of America. And so in the eyes of the world, we are being made to look as like fools in terms of freedom of speech and freedom of the press and all of this jazz. And so the American people are pretty near some of the dumbest people on this planet, because we don't have any news media that report the news. We are going to depths and showing crime and sex and stuff like that. But when it comes down to telling the natural truth, nothing but the truth, so help me and you and God, they come up short every time. And the thing about it is that we sit back and we don't say anything. If you go to Atlanta on Highway 75 and look at all the street signs, the stop signs, the exit signs that are blocked by tree limbs, some of the signs have grown into the trees and won't nobody say nothing. They see it. Got potholes in Atlanta that causes accidents, and then you can't even sue the state of Georgia for not maintaining their roads. And we go to church and we go to mosque and we go to synagogue and we go to hell and we go to heaven, and we come back through our dreams and talk about how holy or wicked we are, or our friends are, our neighbors are, but we won't talk about what we see every day. We see state patrol officers with their radars everywhere you see them. They got radar. They checking you how fast you're going. They checking your speed out, but they will not check those recap tires, those alligators as they call them, all over the highway. And all they got the lights on their cars. All they have to do is pull over and pick the darn things up. But yet they lie to us and tell us they are concerned about our safety. The hell you are! And how can you be concerned about my safety with all the debris that's on the street, and we see public works people pass right by that won't even pick it up? State patrol see the potholes and don't call it in to get DOT to come in and do what needs to be done. And yet we the people allow this to happen, and we don't say nothing. I watch news reporters ride all around Atlanta. They got news media everywhere, fall in them potholes and don't even report it. They at least ought to get out and film it. Thank God for Clark Taylor, whatever his name is, that does a little something, but even he said he done got afraid of done backed up from it. But what is most sickening to me is all around Atlanta, 285, you can't even see the Cascade exit, you can't see all these exits and streets, and it seems like as if though the people in Atlanta are totally blind. I never seen nothing like that before. What's wrong with the American people? I believe it's something they're putting in our water. What you think? Well, let's talk about it sometime. But for right now, let's listen to somebody else. I'm sorry. I don't want to talk too much, okay? The Ghetto Free Press. George Ryan doing what we do because it must be done. Peace.